Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Get Healthy Tampa Bay podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kerry Reller, and today we have a very special guest, Isabella Menna, who is a body and emotional awareness coach. Isabella, why don't you say hi to everybody and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you so much, Kerry, for having me on your podcast. I was so excited to talk to your audience members, especially those who live in Tampa. And who doesn't live in Tampa, you should come by. We are a great city, always interested in having more people.
Absolutely.
We're a great growing city. So my name is Isabella. I've worked in body awareness and emotional awareness for 20 plus years. You know, the direction I took, not many take, but I am very honored and I have a lot of gratitude with where my path has led me. So originally I started with self-awareness and emotional awareness work through entertainment, through a lot of cathartic entertainment. And when I moved away from that field, I took the skills that I had, I started crafting it really into my everyday, my personal everyday, and paired it with coaching I was already doing outside of my professional life. And then voila, confidence consulting company came to be. So I work with couples, I work with singles, I work with married individuals and dating individuals, those in grief and loss. I have certifications in yin and restorative yoga, as well as Chinese meridian work. And I trained with David Kessler with loss and grief education and coaching. So I feel like that's a nice little summary of the work I do.
All right, that is definitely a lot. So that is awesome to hear about. I do have a quick question before we go into what we were mainly going to talk about. And what is body awareness?
Body awareness. Yes. Yeah. Beautiful question. Thank you. And please shout all of them at me. Okay. So body awareness. Our body gives us little messages throughout the entire day. Now, those messages are really important guides to understanding what our needs, wants, and desires are. So, for instance, our body awareness could be something. Let's take this beautiful example. If you see us live right now, you'll see that my chest is a little spotty red. Okay? A human reaction. So me knowing my body, what does it feel like? It feels a little light warm. It kind of gives me a little vibration in my fingertips. My body, I know that this message registering is an excited nervousness. It's, oh my gosh, I get the opportunity to share something I love. Now, a very human response is that little tingly hands, that little butterflies in your chest. And some of our bodies have flush colors or redness or little dots. So going on that singular message my body's giving me, it's, oh my gosh, body, you are excited to talk on Kerry's podcast right now. So with that, rather than me choosing to ignore this message of my beautiful body, I am instead choosing to breathe and feel my feet and ground my nervous system. Am I still making sense of what I'm saying, Kerry?
Definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, we talk about grounding and focusing in on the moment when, people have panic attacks and anxiety attacks. So it's definitely speaking my language. Some people experience anxiety or excitement in different ways, and some people turn bright red, right? And I like how you accept it as well.
So much of this human response right here, if I am to not understand this beautiful message my body is giving me, this thinking mind can come in. So in our thinking mind, what I talk to all my clients is our big, beautiful thinking mind is so stinking important. It helps us navigate this world. And depending on what your career choice is, you need this strong, powerful mind. But when our bodies give us these messages, we don't want to ignore our body and just think into our mind. Am I still making sense of what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because if I was to ignore my body's message, then my mind says, oh, your chest is blotchy. Oh my gosh, everyone's looking at your chest. They're not paying attention to what you're saying. Oh my gosh. Now she probably knows. She knows you're sweating. Ooh, super awkward. Ooh. And what happens is that dialogue in our head ends up possibly giving us fear, guilt, and punishment, making me feel that I am broken or should be shameful somehow because the beautiful message my body's giving me. What I help my clients with their body awareness is knowing that everybody gives a message, and they give us messages throughout the entire day. Our job, our honor, the gift we can give to ourselves is understanding what that message is saying hello to it, getting to know it, and either choosing practices to express and explore where then we can come to a direction to release what no longer serves us, or choose to keep it and love it and be proud of it. So the red blotchy spots I sometimes get on my chest before I'm in an interview, or say I'm engaged now, but when I was out in the dating world and I was on really cute dates, or even now when I'm on with my fiance out at dinner, these blotchy red spots can appear. And through my practices, I found a way to embrace who I am and the messages of my body. So then I can use them to empower me rather than make me feel alone and isolated or broken. I know that was very long-winded, but that makes sense.
No, it's great. I think it probably ties into what we were talking about, which is like what you called sprinkling in self-awareness. So I'm sure it's all tied together. But anyway, what is self-awareness and why is it important? Or is it the same answer to what you just gave?
It's pretty much the same. Why don't we say it in a different kind of way, just in case someone has to hear it differently? Because that's also my job. You know, you and I have this opportunity to have this dialogue where countless people can listen. That does not mean that everyone's going to understand technically what we're saying. With that, my job with each and every client that comes to me, my job is to help them understand what's happening, to break down. It could be the same stinking sentence. My job is, if they don't understand that I'm saying it, I want them to say, Isabel, I don't get it. Nope, still don't get it. Nope, say that again. My job is to say that one sentence 30 different times until it sits with them. It doesn't need to click. Not all the light bulbs need to go on, but it just needs to make logical sense. And through the repetition, it will then be more digestible in our body. So if I was going to say, sprinkling self-awareness, how is that different from the first sentence? It would be something along the lines of, when an idea sits with us, rather than shying it away because we don't understand it, choose to look at the idea, sit with it, and talk with it. If it's something that you feel will serve you in your everyday or possibly future circumstance, then learn to play with it throughout your day. But self-awareness and sprinkling in self-awareness is really important. I don't have magic fairy dust. I say that to all my clients. I wish I stinking had all the magic fairy dust to wipe away all the world's problems and all the unwanted emotions that we sit in, or situations, experiences from the past, the present, or the future. Fortunately, I don't have magic fairy dust, or I have not found that yet. So I'll use the phrase of, and my clients will see me, and if you're on video with us, you'll see me sprinkling it in above my head. But I always say, let me sprinkle this in. Tell me what it feels like. Tell me if it makes sense to you. And then if not, we'll come back to it on another day. So self-awareness could just be the first conversation on the red dots on someone's chest. Let's sprinkle in the idea that it's not weird, it's not bad, and you're not broken. That could simply be what we sprinkle in today when we talk about a message of the body. Am I still making sense of what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It feels bite-sized. Just make sure if I need to say anything different, you tell me. You tell me to say it over.
I'm following. Yes.
Beautiful. So yes.
And so why is it important?
Why is it important? I'm going to give you my personal belief system on why Isabella believes that self-awareness, body awareness, and emotional awareness is important. I personally find it important because it gives us the opportunity to truly communicate our needs, our wants, and our desires to strangers, to friends, and to those closest to us. The gift that we can give ourselves by having self-awareness, body awareness, and emotional awareness is to be able to articulate those needs, wants, and desires. By doing so, we can build stronger, deeper relationships with our community. We can strengthen bonds, and we can maybe explore different avenues of life that we need a buddy by our side. When we have self-awareness and we can understand what we need and we want in our everyday or our future, it helps us make sure that we're not people-pleasing. It helps to make sure that we are honoring what we need that day. And that can come to somebody's health. And when I say health, I mean in the aspect of maybe they didn't eat enough food that day. For instance, say a girlfriend says, oh my gosh, can you get off work at 3? I really, really want to go see this concert. I already got us tickets. Just get off at 3. It's at 7. Let's do this. And you really love your friend. You're not too crazy about the concert. You really love your friend. But my gosh, you haven't eaten all day. You can't go out for a night on town. It's not going to be the smartest for you. You still need to sleep. Your week's been really busy. If we don't understand that our body's tired, if we don't understand that we've been overwhelmed, so maybe we feel a little bit more moody, if we don't understand the needs that aren't being met, then guilt, shame, and punishment comes in. So when our friend asks us to go do something, sometimes we can get in this little dance of, am I being a bad friend if I don't go? Okay, well, maybe I should just suck it up then and go. So then sometimes we suck it up and we go, and then we're a little snippy, or the next day we wake up with a sore throat, or, so on and so forth. So the importance of self-awareness, tying that all back in, is not putting yourself in circumstances that aren't necessary or ones that you can burn a bridge because you are not honoring your needs. You're also not putting yourself in a situation that you expect anybody to be a mind reader, and then you get mad when they're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely putting yourself first and your needs and wants, and, putting maybe that other person's not at the top of the list, because you can't show up as your best self, right, with them if that's not what you truly want to do.
Right. We say this as if it's so elementary, you know what I mean? Like, we're looking at each other's eyes and we're like, oh my gosh, well, yeah, you can't pour out of a cup if it's not filled up. But this concept is really not grasped by so many people in the public, because putting yourself first has not been a habit that is really cultivated at a young age. Yeah. We actually learn at a very young age, not necessarily to put yourself first, it's put your homework first. Put your brother and sister, if you're older, first. It's usually putting all these things outside of ourselves first, because we think that that's what we need to do to build stable adults later. When actuality, at a very young age, which I'm very happy that I was raised in a environment like this, my nervous system has been regulated at a very young age, in an environment that you can speak up if you need something, or you can express and explore what it looks like. So it's not just if a child says they don't want to do their homework, it's not that they get reprimanded for not doing their homework in that moment. It becomes more of a dialogue. Like, do you need a snack to focus a little bit more? Do you think you need to take a nap? Or maybe we shouldn't swim. Maybe yesterday we should have only swam for an hour rather than 2 hours. So today was a bit easier with your work. You're giving your child the ability to problem solve. And all of us are just babies. We're literally adults in baby bodies. So I speak to so many of my clients about that awareness of knowing that even though we can say that, well, of course we have to put ourselves first. Yes, listen to what you need first, but not everybody is raised or taught what it looks like to put themselves first and what that etiquette looks like. So I help my clients understand the etiquette. And if guilt, shame, and punishment comes in from childhood or teenage years, or even in their adult life, then we look at that and we talk through it.
Yeah. So when you first meet a client and you're going to help them with this, how do you kind of assess their situation?
So I send everybody a new client form before we get on together. They, of course, have an opportunity if they want to do like a free 15-minute call to even, well, they have to like my voice. You know what I mean? They have to enjoy who I am as a human being. And if I'm not their cup of tea, there's no guilt, there's no shame, and there's no punishment with that. You have to want to work together. So once we get past that, Then there's a new client form. And on that new client form, I ask them some questions when it comes to practices. So if they've done certain emotional practices, there's like yes or no boxes. Then talking about which emotions they want to look at. And I also have a certification as a postpartum doula. So if I'm working with parents that they just gave birth or they're looking to build more of their family, there's a bunch of very detailed questions. And then say someone comes on and they're like, well, I have no idea. There's also an option to be like, I have no idea, but I'm hungry for some self-awareness. And then from there, I jump on Zoom with them and I let them dive in any fashion that fits them best that day. Sometimes it's ongoing talking and then we work with whatever they give me. Sometimes it's silence and they want me to start the direction of the voyage. And then other times they specifically want to talk about a specific goal they have in mind to accomplish.
So what do you think are the risks of them not currently having self-awareness?
I believe that risks that can come about are a lack of self-responsibility. A lot of the time in this essence, if you're not hungry to be self-aware, let's start there. If you're not hungry to be self-aware, but you've heard some people say you need more awareness in that situation. I'm going to try to be very vague because I'm trying to be someone who doesn't know anything about self-awareness, which is really normal. So if anyone's listening to this and they're like, oh my gosh, that's me. You are not broken. Nothing is wrong. It is so stinking natural to hear the phrases of self-awareness, but not Google it or look into it more. Maybe you just hear it and it sounds too magical. So I want to say that in case anyone's listening and they're like, oh, you're not broken. It's normal. But for instance, the risks that could come about is say they're in a relationship and their girlfriend continually says something and they're like, I need your support here. And I don't feel like you hear me. I don't feel like you understand me. I need you to be aware of the room. I need you to be aware of my needs. I need help communicating this to you. And someone says, I don't want self-awareness. I don't believe in it. The risk is not building on your toolbox of skills. And when we choose not to grow from where we're at, or we choose not to strengthen that toolbox of skills, we can sometimes lose relationships that maybe we really honestly didn't want to lose, but we didn't know how to say, hey, stay. I don't know how to work on this, but I would like to. So the risk that can come about with not being self-aware, feeling like you are bad or broken or helpless, feeling that people don't want to be around you, or you lose those you care about, or you feel like you don't see as often because of the lack of communication, or because of the strong wall you have up maybe to not wanting to hear another point of view. Another risk I could say is it would just eat you away if you are familiar, if you do know that something needs to change. Like, let's say this silly example, but here's an example. I know that I need to drink more water in a day. Isabella actually does have to, but we're using this as an example. I know that I should drink more water every day. My lips are getting dry, which is an indicator. If your lips are dry, that means that your body's already dehydrated. So we need to get that water going faster. And say that like my skin starts breaking out, so on and so forth. Just using this as a simple example. And every day I choose to only take 2 sips, but then every day I continuously get aggravated that my body isn't working like a body that's hydrated. Okay. That very small example is a risk of choosing not to be self-aware. Because then I'm going to beat myself up. I'm going to think something's broken when all it is I have the awareness that I have to drink more water. When I choose not to do it, I'm then going to suffer not having enough water until my body over time gets sick because my lack of awareness that I could have started, let's just say 20 years prior. Silly example, but it's how it sprinkles in all aspects of our life.
So you could be pushing other people away and then not treating yourself right and just keep on digging a deeper and deeper hole.
And then some people think that it's old age, or they're like, oh, it's just life, or this is what responsibilities look like. When in actuality, you can still be successful in your everyday, but not look depleted. You don't have to deplete yourself to reach all the highest mountaintops. It's just listening to your body when it also wants to rest, listening to your body when it needs to eat, listening to your body when it needs to cry, listening to your body when it needs to belly laugh and snort with a little saliva hanging. I know that sounds not like an attractive statement, but our emotions aren't always quote unquote attractive. Our awareness that we need or what we need to, that process and building awareness, it's not always sexy being raw and vulnerable and working through our internal chaos without punishment, guilt, and shame.
So how do you specifically help your clients?
Specifically, so I will give everyone a breathing practice today. I almost always start with that breathing practice with people because it usually comes out. But like I said, I let them roll from wherever they want to start and we go from there. I always use the example that not everyone looks good in bangs and a bob. So what I find a lot of the time with coaching is there's like one haircut fits all, like one coaching fits all. And that's just not the way we are built as human beings with our experiences and our quirkiness and just who we are. So we don't all look good in bangs and a bob. So I cultivate and help you build whatever practices you specifically need. And that's how we build your toolbox, but one that every single person gets taught that I would love to talk about today is when it comes to our breath. So is that okay if I bring us through
let's do it.
Something? Okay. It'll be super small, but we'll just go through it. So I would bring everyone through a longer feel your feet practice, which is grounding ourselves. So if we're going to do it a little speedy right now, I would say feel your big toes on each feet. I always don't know the names of those middle toes, but start feeling the toe right next to your big toes. So all 4 toes, then the rest in the middle, then your pinky toe. So we're feeling our big toe, our middle toes, and our pinky toe all at the same time. Now breathe. Now you're going to feel the balls of your feet and every toe at the same time. Breathe the outside of our feet and our toes at the same time, every single toe into the ground. The balls of our feet, the outside, now our heels. Now the inside of our feet. So as we breathe into the idea that we can feel every toe at the same time into the ground, the outside of our feet, the inside of our feet, the balls of our feet, and our heel, you can then start bringing awareness to the temperature and texture underneath your feet and your toes. Now we're going to just slowly work ourselves up to our body. If you're sitting in a seat, I always say you can do like a little bounce. Helps us regulate our nervous system, kind of like one would rock a baby when they're crying. Because remember, we're just big babies in our body. Yeah, and breathe. Okay, now we're going into the meatier process. So I tell everyone to imagine a mouth underneath their belly button. What always comes to my mind's eye is the cat mouth from Alice in Wonderland. I don't know if you can think of it, but it's a really big mouth. It's from like ear to ear. So if the mouth I'm thinking about is not one in your repertoire, then do not worry. Just think of a big, beautiful mouth that you can place underneath your belly button. That's where you want to see yourself breathing from. Now, as we just sprinkle in that idea, I'm going to use an example as we continue breathing and feeling our feet. So, Kerry, have you ever been in New York City or in a subway or anywhere like that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You know, if you pass a dumpster or a big smelly garbage can, what do you usually do when you're walking past it?
Hold my breath.
You hold your breath. I have yet to meet anybody that says, you know what, I smell it in. I big inhale at that moment. Usually all of us say, oh my gosh, I hold my breath. I walk really fast. I plug my nose. So this gives us a beautiful example on how our breath is another way that we make contact with someone or the environment around us. When we block that contact, it's a defense mechanism, a beautiful defense mechanism that our bodies made to protect us, okay? So your body will also bring up that beautiful defense of holding its breath when we're in an altercation sometimes, when we're speaking at a big conference, when maybe we have to discipline our child, or we're having an argument with a parent, or we have to say something at the workplace, or even if we're talking to ourselves in the mirror. We hold our breath throughout the day because it's our body's way to stop the contact with those around us or the situations in which we don't want to take in. So what I would encourage everybody to do, anybody who's listening, and of course, if you're my client, I would have this as an encouraged practice to do. But today, this next week, now continue breathing into those ideas with that big, beautiful mouth underneath your belly button. I want you to draw awareness to when and where you hold your breath. I'm going to say that again. Draw awareness today, this entire week, to when and where you hold your breath. And everybody who's listening, breathe. That's what I would remind everyone right now. Because so much of the time, we really forget to breathe underneath our belly button. In yin and restorative yoga, we call it our heart. It's right underneath there. That's where the core of the body is.
Is it different than diaphragmatic breathing?
It's exactly the same, just with other words. Very good question. Thank you for asking. Sometimes what I found with a lot of my clients are words that I use so much in daily occurrences, less weight, because they believe that they understand it. And I mean that with love when I say we believe we understand something. So much of the time we say, oh, I know that. Oh, yes, that. But we don't really know it just because we hear it. We know it once our body digests it and we put it in action. Mm-hmm. So the beauty of self-awareness is right now we're talking about breath. And I hope everybody goes off today and this next week bringing awareness to the times they hold their breath. It's much harder said than done. But when something is daunting but possible, it equals hard work. And in body and emotional awareness, there is no magic fairy dust. It's hard work. So you have to be hungry to want to do it. But the gift that you give yourself is like an always giving gift. There are tools that no one can take from you, as simple as just bringing that awareness of your breath, going back to that. If you find that it's when you're talking to someone or before you walk into a room or before someone calls on you, that is a message to your body. In that moment, then starts a next cycle of self-awareness. Well, who is this person? What emotion is coming up? So then we work with our emotions. I always work with 5 main emotions, but then we start talking to them. So they're just through little bite-sized practices like that, where this breathing practice, if people are listening to it now, it might feel so elementary. Sometimes this alone can take months to actually choose to practice throughout the day and choose to bring full awareness to. But it's through the repetition that that work will fall into place. Am I making sense of everything I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like this is, first of all, I feel like I got a free session. Thank you. But also, I feel like it's a little bit analogous to a book that I read, Positive Intelligence by Shirzad. I forget his last name. But anyway, he has kind of a similar thing where you become aware of everything. He calls those things a PQ rep. So you have to read the book to know more about it, but it's certainly becoming aware of mind, body. And he goes through the toes and everything like that. And several months ago, I was practicing that more and I feel like I got out of tune with it. So when I feel like you're saying you can listen and do it, the big thing is, like you were saying, putting things into action. And that goes with anything in life, right? So I can read all these books and get all this information, but nothing really works until I start doing things about it, right? So I really like that you bring that into play.
Thank you for saying exactly what you said, because it sparks up another thought in my mind. Social media is so powerful. Instagram has a lot of stinking great ideas, right? Those same ideas that are kind of said every day. What I want to make sure I highlight, what's important for all of us to sprinkle in the awareness about, is Instagram doesn't always specifically know you or what you're experiencing. My point of saying that is we can read a lot of information, but sometimes we have to search further to find how to make it actionable. That's what I love that I can give to my clients, is bite bite-sized practices so they can implement the thing they believe they know into action until their body digests the material. So they no longer have to think about this new habit, pattern, point of view. It's their body will just automatically start doing it. It's kind of like being in an ongoing meditative state, per se. It's the connection of our mind, body, and soul working in a beautiful unison. Just if we call the outside world the matrix, they program us to use these big, beautiful thinking minds. And we're learning how to understand what our body's saying, paired with our mind, to be in a really wonderful state where we're honoring ourselves 24/7. Yes.
Awesome. We definitely have homework. So thank you for giving us that. So everybody needs to be aware of when you hold your breath. That's your homework. And then where can people find you to work with you?
I would love for anybody who is interested, even if it's that 15-minute phone call and you're like, I want to see if you're my cup of tea, Isabella, please go to my website. It's confidenceconsultingco.com. And you can also access me on Instagram. I'm not very Instagram savvy, but it's Confidence Consulting Co. as well.
Awesome. We will include everything in the show notes. Isabella, thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you for the free session. And everybody go do your homework and realize when you're holding your breath. And if you need any primary care or obesity medicine doctor, please reach us at www.cfma.health. See you next week.